Alumni Stadium in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, where we start the final third of college football's regular season with two teams poised to become bowl eligible and possibly re-enter the nation's top 25. It's the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame against the Eagles of Boston College, who have won the last 5 between these traditional rivals. You're watching ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. Last year for Notre Dame was nothing short of an embarrassment. They couldn't get out of their own way on offense. In fact, they finished dead last in the country. Boy, Todd, what a difference a year makes.
Absolutely. They are so much better this year than we saw them last year. And I think 3 things you can point to that show their improvement offensively. Their offensive line, a year older, much better, doing a better job of protecting the quarterback, most notably. And that quarterback, Jimmy Clausen, as a sophomore in his second year as a starter, much more comfortable running the show, making plays. And outside, he's got a couple wide receivers that are big-time guys that can really stretch a defense. True freshman Michael Floyd, 6'3", very strong, very fast. And then Golden Tate, who is a converted running back, is a sophomore, really developing as a wide receiver. And these 2 wideouts have really made things easier for Jimmy Clausen, able to stretch the defense. This offense much better than they were a year ago.
Boston College, like Notre Dame, is 5-3. They've been winning with defense. The offense at times has been pretty good, but there have been other times when they haven't been very good at all.
Very unpredictable. They go as their quarterback goes. Chris Crane is a 5th-year senior, but a first-year starter, so there's been a lot of ups and downs. And quarterback coach and coordinator Steve Logan said, the question I ask before every game, how fast can we drive the car? Well, we're going to take that a step further and say, what kind of car will Boston College offense be tonight? Will it be a Pinto up on blocks going nowhere? A Yugo that will get you where you want to go, but you're kind of embarrassed to be driving it? A Honda Accord that's efficient and smooth and takes care of business? Or could it be a flashy Lamborghini? Right before the game, Logan told me, I don't think we can get to be a Lamborghini. I'll be very happy if we're a Honda Accord tonight.
All right, Todd. Thanks very much. They're the Eagles of Boston College in front of a sellout crowd of 44,500 here at Alumni Stadium. They'll come out before that crowd. A lot of them will be rooting for Notre Dame. Kickoff from Boston is next.
Mike Golick, Notre Dame class of 1985, and I know BC has won the last 5 matchups between these 2 teams, but tonight's going to be a little different. I think BC is getting a little cocky with this series, thinking, is it really a rivalry? I thought the other team has to win some for it to be a rivalry. That's all right. Feel good about yourselves in the 5 in a row you won against Notre Dame, because it ends tonight. And all we remember is, what have you done for me lately? And it'll be a Notre Dame victory.
All right, Mike, looking good, buddy. Strong words from a big guy. The series history, Notre Dame leads it overall 9-8. Interestingly, they've only been playing since 1975, but BC has won the last 5. Coming up on our show tonight, we'll take a look back at the kick that shocked college football 15 years ago. Also, legendary coach Frank Leahy will be the subject of our Did You Know? One of the great coaches of all time. And even in a cosmopolitan city like Boston, Todd gets messy with Taste of the Town. And you can catch that at the end of the first quarter. Before we kick it off, here's our partner, Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, after the longest game in school history last week, a 4-overtime heartbreaking loss for Notre Dame, a big question mark for them is, will they have energy and legs coming out here tonight? Starting before the game in pregame warm-ups, their starting inside linebacker, Brian Smith, may have given us the answer. He was barking at everybody. He was over in the face of the Boston College players, yelling things like, I hope you don't play as soft as you look. Things change tonight. It is over. Things are going to end now. Guys, he was barking it up, even with his own teammates running into the locker room. And I noticed as Notre Dame lined up to run out onto the field, guess who was the first player in line barking again? Brian Smith. If the team can feed off the rest of his energy, that 4 overtime game may be a distant memory.
Well, we'll have to see if his bite's as good as his bark, because bite is what's going to win the football game here, not bark.
I like that.
I'll tell you one thing about Boston College. They are not flashy, but they are well coached, and they are tough and physical. And if you beat them, you've got to earn it, and you've got to be more physical than they are.
Quigley to kick. Golden Tate 23 and Barry Gallup Jr. 21 deep. Tate with outstanding speed across the 20. Makes a nice move, takes it up to the 27-yard line. This year, Notre Dame quarterback Jimmy Clausen has had a chance to show why he was so highly recruited in the first place. Because the people around him are much better. His improvement has been magnified even beyond what he is doing better.
I thought it was really interesting what Charlie Weiss told us about. He said last year he was just running plays. He was just going play to play. Now he's running the team. Now he's running the offense. Tremendous development in Jimmy Clausen from year 1 to year 2.
They've got 4 wide receivers, 3 stacked at the top of your screen, and they'll go with a little bubble screen out there and get it to Golden Tate, who's averaging 18.3 yards per reception. He and Floyd, very dangerous wide receivers for this club. You can check out both starting lineups at the top of your screen over the scoreboard.
One of the other things that Charlie did with this offense is they went to the no huddle. It's not a hurry up. But ever since the Michigan State game, they went to this no-huddle approach. It just kind of cleans the picture up for Jimmy Clausen, helps him to read the defense and make calls at the line of scrimmage much easier.
Boston College comes with the blitz. Floyd up to the 45-yard line, and Clausen is down. And Robert Francois hit him late. Oh, no, check it. It's a chop block against Notre Dame.
I was amazed that Clausen got this ball out because the pressure hit him right as he was making the throw, and he still was able to get the completion. And he got up awful slow at the end of this. They brought pressure. Both inside linebackers came. Hard to see the chop block right there, but watch the throw by Clausen under duress. The center is going to get knocked right back into him, and he's still able to make the throw.
Frank Spaziani dialed up the blitz, and that'll push him all the way back to the 16-yard line. Duval Camara, number 18, is the starting wide receiver for Notre Dame tonight because David Grimes is still recovering from a foot injury. Camara is in the slot. Allen, the running back, goes in motion. Empty backfield again. Clausen under pressure. Throws short for a completion again to Floyd. Floyd came into this game leading the club with 41 grabs. Ron Grace, the defensive tackle, dropped back and made the stop.
Yeah, and this was a new look from Frank Spaziani's defense. They dropped both of their defensive tackles out. They really confused Jimmy Clausen on that particular throw. Jimmy Clausen expecting a 4-man rush. It was really only a 2-man rush. 9 guys dropped into coverage. Nowhere to go with the football.
3rd and 18 for Notre Dame. Last year, they would have had no chance at all to make a 3rd and 18. Movement up front. And 77, Mike Turkovich, the starting left tackle, got an early start. That'll make it 3rd and 23. There's Charlie Weiss now in his 4th year, formerly the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. He has given up the play calling duties this year. And Mike Haywood more of an offensive coordinator than he has ever been. And Charlie has become more of the head coach on both sides of the ball. Third and a mile. Draw play. Allen. Got a lot of quickness, but it didn't help him this time. And once again, it's Francois, the weak side linebacker, who's starting for Brian Toll, who's been lost for the season with a broken leg.
BC is very solid on defense.
Jeff Jagosinski, 2nd year as the head coach at Boston College. Had a great season a year ago, then lost all of his skill players and has had to retool and still has a chance of the ACC title. He's done a heck of a job. Moss to punt to Gunnell. Gunnell first 40-yard line. Poor kick, end over end. Moss comes up, saves a lot of yardage by making the catch down to 44. Only a 30-yard punt, and Gunnell with a 2-yard return. That's Chris Crane. He has been up and down in his only season as the starter for the Eagles. He still has more interceptions than touchdown passes, but the raw skills are there.
Oh, he's got talent. I mean, he can really throw the football. And, you know, that touchdown to interception ratio, that's to be expected for a first-year starter. I mean, that's no different than a guy, you know, you think when he's a fifth-year senior, maybe he should have better numbers, but he's just like a freshman playing. I mean, you can practice things, you can draw it up on the board, but there's no substitute for game starts and game experience. That's what he's getting right now.
He's a fifth-year senior with no experience whatsoever. Josh Hayden, the running back. Hayden is a freshman. The guy behind him, Montel Harris, is a freshman. And I was really stunned when Jeff Jagodzinski told us the other day, at the end of last year, they had no running backs in this program. Not a single guy on scholarship was a running back because they did not expect Jeff Smith to come back. He had had a series of concussions. So when they were out recruiting guys and saying, you know, you got a chance to start, they weren't blowing smoke at anybody.
You will start if you come here.
Blitz. Crane hangs in there and throws a strike to Gunnell. 15 yards.
Gunnell did a great job of getting inside the defender, and that made it an easy throw for Crane. Watch, Gunnell is going to get inside his defender right there. That gives him a good target for the quarterback. The quarterback can see his numbers. A nice little stutter step off the line of scrimmage to get free of McNeil.
Notre Dame has some athletes in the secondary. They've been playing a lot of man-to-man. Now Crane will go to the shotgun. Notre Dame showing blitz again, and they come with it, trying to get to the inexperienced quarterback, but so far he has burned them when they've come with pressure. And once again, McNeil has to make the tackle on Rich Gunnell, who has caught back-to-back balls.
Well, this is good if you're Steve Logan, the quarterback coach. Again, how fast can he drive the car? What can he expect out of his quarterback? He never knows from game to game, sometimes even from series to series. Right now, his quarterback is off to a very smooth start. Looks very comfortable throwing the football.
Purvis, the tight end, sets up on the right wing. Running play will get about 3. They have smallest running backs. Hayden is 5'8", 182. Montel Harris, who we'll see tonight, is 5'10", 192. So they don't have the pounder in there.
Hayden is a younger brother of Joe Hayden, who is a sophomore defensive back at the University of Florida. Interestingly enough, also started as a true freshman at Florida and enrolled early in January, just like Josh Hayden did here at Boston College. So both Hayden brothers off to fast starts in their careers.
Another first down, Eagles. Gunnell goes in motion. Crane looks that way. Had Gunnell wide open in the flat and didn't see it. Crane with the keeper down to the 16. I mean, Gunnell was open.
Well, Boston College offensively, who are their go-to guys? The guy who's going to make plays, the guy we just talked about, Josh Hayden, their starting tailback, the freshman out of Washington, Maryland. The other freshman tailback, Montel Harris, is out of Jacksonville, Florida. He only got a scholarship the last week of recruiting and has really been a pleasant surprise. And Brandon Robinson, their leading receiver on the outside, a senior out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, 27 catches on the year.
I said Gunnell. I'm sorry, it's Gunnell. He's in the slot on the right again. Crane throws. Gunnell got a hand on it, but it was nearly picked off. Outstanding coverage by Sergio Brown, who had inside position.
Yeah, Sergio Brown was beat for a moment, but reacted quickly. As soon as he got his head and eyes around, he was able to get in position and make a play on the football. Crane thought he had his man open, made a pretty good throw to the sideline, but Brown able to get a hand on it and knock it away. Now here's where Chris Crane has to be smart with the football. It's 3rd and long. They're in field goal range. Jeff Jagodzinski feels at 25-yard line or in, he's comfortable with the field goal. Be smart with the ball. Don't waste a scoring opportunity.
Crane to the end zone, incomplete. Well, I don't know if he's comfortable with a field goal, but they're going to try one.
Yeah. Well, he's comfortable with trying it from this distance. Anything from the 25-yard line out, I think he looks at it as 4-down territory.
Alpen Avicius will come on. He's 7 out of 12 His longest attempt this year is 39 yards. His longest connection is 36, and it's just been a struggle. This one will be from 34.
Hit the left upright, didn't it?
I don't think comfortable is the right word anymore. The kicking game can kill you, and right now it really hurt Boston College early. ESPN's college football primetime is available in sparkling clear HD, and that is Dave Earnhardt plying his craft on the sideline. Notre Dame takes over at its 20 after the missed field goal try. Armando Allen, the single setback, and he has played very well this year so far. Allen will get the carry off the right side. Kept his balance, shakes the tackle, fumble the ball. Goodell got it back. Excuse me, Kamara.
Well, you see on that play what the strength of this Boston College defense is. It's inside. The two tackles, Brace and Raji, those guys bounce everything outside. Watch the penetration on the inside that forces the play out. Brace forces Allen outside, and then a hit on the football knocks it loose. You see it's ripped out, and Notre Dame very thankful and very lucky that they fell on the football. Wes Davis, the free safety, is the guy that ripped the football out.
Don't know how long Brace can go. He's been playing with a bad back. Some pressure coming on Clausen. He goes underneath to Allen, and Allen is wrapped up immediately by Wes Davis, and there is a flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 56 defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Big East referee John McDade.
Here's the end of the play. Yeah, there it is. I think that's Ramella, number 86. I think he called 56, but he meant 86.
Wasn't much, but it was enough.
Yeah, ball was clearly gone. No need for that.
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
You just cost your team 15 yards. It would have been 3rd and long. Instead, it's a first down. Clausen sings that one. It's tipped. And back in coverage, middle linebacker Mike McLaughlin. Good drop by the middle linebacker. Yeah, very deep.
Linebackers reading the quarterback's eyes. Jimmy Clausen not looking anybody off on this one. McLaughlin drops right underneath the tight end Kyle Rudolph and almost gets the interception. Rudolph well covered. A lot of red jerseys around the intended target on that one.
Clausen with a hitch and throws it away. Frank Spaziani said the other day, you know, when they come in here, they'll know what our tendencies are. There's a very smart pro-style offense. He says, I may have to break a few tendencies of my own.
And already he has, and I think it's very smart because not only is it a pro-style approach on the other side, but John Tenuta, who is one of the defensive assistants now at Notre Dame, was Spaziani's graduate assistant at Virginia in the early 80s. They're good friends. They know each other's style. And John Tenuta, who was at Georgia Tech last year, was able to really help prep the Notre Dame offensive coaches about Spaziani's tendencies.
I like to watch both of those guys coach. Pressure coming on Clausen. They block it pretty well. Clausen unloads too far for Golden Tate. He was covered very, very well. Donnie Fletcher, the freshman out of Cleveland, Ohio, a great skill player, had excellent coverage. And here's Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, actually, there was a big hockey game last night, Notre Dame at BC. So Frank Spaziani, the defensive coordinator for Boston College, he took a guess. It was John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame. He said, you know, once he was the student, now he's the master. John Tenuta said, hey, he's one of my best friends in coaching. They know each other very well.
All right, Holly, most will punt. Gunnell is deep. Fair catch at the 17-yard line. 41-yard kick. His first was only 30. This one is better and no return. 0-0, first quarter. Heisman winner and 2007 College Football Hall of Fame inductee Doug Flutie honored yesterday with the unveiling of a statue of his likeness created by Harry Weber. The statue depicts Flutie throwing that Hail Mary pass in the Miracle of Miami game in 1983. Way to go, Donna.
What a great player. I remember when he was a freshman, the first game he ever came in was at Penn State, and I watched this little guy with number 22 on and said, who's this guy, quarterback number 22? The next year as a sophomore, he threw for 520 yards against our defense, and we won the national championship that year here in Boston. It was unbelievable.
He was an unbelievable competitor. There's his nephew, Billy. I'll tell you what, you come to Boston College with that last name, the pressure is enormous.
I'll tell you what, though, I like this kid. He's a hard-working guy. He does a little bit of everything. Wide receiver, punts. I saw him jump in on a scout team kickoff. I mean, anything he can do. He's got a great attitude and approach to the game.
Crane in the shotgun. They'll blow this play dead. He's played pretty well so far, hasn't he?
So far.
Number 66 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
See, the thing with Chris Crane is he's highly skilled. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. He's got a very good arm. And there have been moments when he's been brilliant. The North Carolina State game early in the year, 34-51, 428 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then the next 2 games, he had 6 interceptions, and 3 of them were returned for touchdowns, and another one was returned all the way to the 1-yard line. Just plays that really take your team out of contention.
Montel Harris gets his first carry. He's up to the 24-yard line, stopped by the outside linebacker Harrison Smith. Of course, they had Matt Ryan playing quarterback a year ago. Crane has sat and waited his turn, came out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. He has already graduated with a degree in psychology. Very bright kid, is interested in attending medical school. But you can tell when you talk to him that he's just holding out the hope that somebody's going to give him an opportunity to go somewhere and learn.
Have a chance to continue playing football.
Ganell makes this catch very near the sticks. You get the feeling if the NFL Europe was still in action, it might be the perfect place for a kid like Crane.
Yeah, he's a project. I mean, he's got skills. And Steve Logan said, I really believe that if I had one more year with him, he'd be a very good player. Unfortunately, this is all they've got. And you've got to hope that now in game 9 for the rest of the year, because they've got 3 big ACC games after this, you got to hope that for the last 4 games, and hopefully a 5th, he plays like a second-year guy, that he's done being a first-year starter, and he becomes a second-year starter starting tonight.
There's Billy Flutie in the slot. It is the first down for the Eagles. Running play, but pick up about 6 with Montel Harris, who's averaged nearly 6 yards a carry this year. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Mike, Taco Bell studio update, and back to Lubbock we go. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Pokes are on the board. Kendall Hunter powering his way through the Red Raider defense. 7-0 the game on ABC. There will be plenty of scoring in that affair. On ESPN2, Tebow just scored 14-0 Florida over Vanderbilt. SC has an early field goal against Cal.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. 2nd and 5 here. First down and more. Montel Harris out of Jacksonville, Florida, picks up 13 yards. David Bruton, the best player on defense for Notre Dame, had to make the stop. And after beating number 1, it hasn't been easy. Boston College did it in '93 when they knocked off Notre Dame, lost to West Virginia. Michigan State beat Michigan, lost to Illinois. Oklahoma over Nebraska, then they did win the next week, but Notre Dame lost. Wisconsin lost after being in this situation.
Very tough to get right back up after a huge win over a number 1 team.
Crane on the run, throws incomplete. They want a flag. They're not going to get it.
Well, it was a good play by McNeil, but I think he did get away with one. He got the ball with his right hand, but I thought his left arm was draped all over the intended receiver, Ganell. It was kind of a dangerous pass by Crane, throwing back across his body to the middle, but watch and see if the left arm is not on the receiver before the hit.
Sure was.
He got the ball with his right hand, but I thought there was contact with the left arm before the deflection.
Justin Jarvis, the intended receiver. Boston College moving the ball reasonably well so far. Pressure coming. Crane throws. Nobody out there on the screen. Montel Harris, number 41, had stayed in the block and never got out to be an eligible receiver. Sometimes you get caught up in the wash.
Well, yeah, that one just didn't look right. It almost looked like the pressure surprised Crane. You know, when you throw a screen, you know that they're going to get let through. And so you have to anticipate that you're going to have to drift a little bit and find a throwing lane. And that time it almost looked like he got flat-footed and got surprised by the pressure.
Now 3rd and 10. Notre Dame with that 3-man front can come at you from a lot of different directions. That BC line is blocked very well. There's an excellent throw that time. A perfect strike for a first down to the 36-yard line. The catch made by Brandon Robinson, who is their leading receiver, only with 27 catches on the year.
Yeah, here's Robinson. He's just going to run a deep in. It's man coverage. 5-man rush for Notre Dame. It's man coverage with a free safety helping in the middle. And Robinson beat his man, and a nice throw by Chris Crane for the first down.
Looks like Boston College has been very well prepared for what Notre Dame is going to bring against them on pass pressure.
Little zone read that time. I mean, you've got to do that. If you want to run the zone out of the shotgun, then every now and then as the quarterback, you've got to be willing to pull that football out and keep it. Even if you don't gain a lot of yards, you've got to keep the defense honest by doing that.
He's rushed for 145 yards. He is not immobile.
No, and he also has the most rushing touchdowns of anybody on the team. He has 7.
Darius Fleming is the injured player for Notre Dame. They tend to him. And we will go away at the 3:33 mark. Back after this.
Now,
Get your weekly dose of NFL news and analysis tomorrow, first at 11 a.m. Chris Berman hosts Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM. Then at 7 Eastern, Chris and John Saunders deliver the day's highlights and scores on SportsCenter. That's Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM at 11. SportsCenter presented by Bud Light at 7 p.m. tomorrow on ESPN. That's Darius Fleming, who was able to walk off under his own power. Boston College driving against Notre Dame. They have gone inside the Irish 35, and this will be the 10th play of this drive. Four-man rush. Crane takes off.
Good decision.
Got the first down and more. 20, 15. Gets out of bounds at the 12-yard line. A gain of 22.
A smart decision by the senior quarterback. I was just about to say the offense was pretty much you go, but this was a Honda Accord play. A good decision, efficient, the right thing to do, get what you can get, and then get out of bounds. And now, once again, he has Boston College in scoring territory. They missed a field goal the last time they were in scoring territory. But Chris Crane looking very under control right now. 5 of 9 for the football game.
He is the game's leading rusher. 3 carries, 25 yards. Harris, maybe a yard and no more. Harrison Smith with another tackle, and here's Holland.
Guys, Notre Dame does not give injury information, but what I've observed is that Fleming has been examined just up underneath his tummy. They had their hands up under his pads, under his jersey, just kind of feeling around in the abdominal area. He's up walking around. They're talking to him. Not sure if he'll be able to return, but he looks pretty good over here right now, just trying to walk things off.
Thanks, Holly. Way to stay on top of it. Second down, they'll call it 8 as the ball is spotted at the 10. Crane throws for the end zone and into a big crowd and incomplete. Goodell was the closest player to it. BC in the red zone in this conference, pretty good, 87.5%. And 75% in touchdown percentage. Crane with good time to the back of the end zone, incomplete. That looked like a really smart throw. His guy's going to get it or nobody does.
Well, and the guy he was throwing to is the tallest receiver on his team. Moma is 6'6", and so he throws that one to the back corner of the end zone and gives his tallest receiver a chance to make a play. Either his guy gets it or it goes out of bounds and you try another field goal.
Apanavicius will come on as everybody holds their breath. This will be from 27. He's now 7 out of 13. Hit the upright with his last try from 34.
Missed again. Oh, got that one.
Well, that one somehow sliced back
I thought
through.
that was going to hit the right upright.
That baby had knuckleball written all over it. Coming up, legendary coach Frank Leahy, the subject when we played Did You Know? But there's a flag down. Hold the phone.
This is a Big East officiating crew, not an ACC crew. Big East.
Running into the kicker. Defense. Penalties decline. Field goal is good.
It was 4th and 8, so it would not have given them the first down. There's Frank Leahy, one of the great coaches of all time, the subject of our Did You Know when we come back. Boston College with a 3-0 lead. Apanavicius has missed one, made another.
You know, they have another kicker on the roster, Billy Bennett, a sophomore who they recruited, a scholarship kicker, but he is suspended indefinitely. And so their punter, Ryan Quigley, is kind of the backup kicker now. That's the guy kicking off right now.
Golden Tate has a seam up the middle, cuts it outside. Nice return, but a flag down as Tate is stopped at the 35-yard line. Now we'll check the penalty.
Almost assuredly against Notre Dame, an illegal block. Going to put him in bad field position again.
During the return, holding, number 25, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jonas Gray called for the hold. Ryan Quigley, the kicker, made the stop.
Mike Haywood, the offensive coordinator. Charlie Weiss giving up the bulk of the play calling duties to Mike Haywood this year. Mike Haywood said the biggest thing he had to get used to was being in the press box. He has never been in the press box during his coaching career. He said everything is a lot slower up there. Everything moves slower except for the 40-second clock. That keeps running fast.
Notre Dame only has 17 yards on 2 drives so far. Not surprising because Boston College is number 10 in the country in total defense. They have played very, very well on that side of the ball. There's another flag down. And that's Mike Haywood. And who would have thought that Charlie Weiss, whose calling card was as a play caller, would give up the play calling?
Well, he still has input. Obviously, he has a lot of input during the week. But in not being the sole play caller, it gives him a better chance to manage the whole football team and lead the whole program. During the game, what his input is he gives a lot of formation suggestions, and their play sheet is based on the hash. So if Charlie says go in this formation, the left or right hash will determine what play Mike Haywood will call.
Robert Hughes, the new running back, he's number 33, standing right on top of the goal line. Hughes trying to break it outside, will pick up only a couple, and that swarming Eagle defense was all over him, led by Marcellus Bowman and Mark Herzlich.
The interesting
and Herzlich is really a good player.
He really is. I mean, he is the best, probably the best all-around player in their back seven. Up front, B.J. Raji is their best down lineman, but Herzlich played middle linebacker as a freshman. He was the starting weak side linebacker last year, and he starts on the strong side this year. They like him out in space. That's him right out here.
Incomplete, intended for Golden Tate.
Another 3rd and long right now for Notre Dame. This plays right into the hands of Frank Spaziani. He's shown some different looks. He's brought pressure. He's dropped 8 or 9. 3rd and long. We'll see what he has dialed up for Jimmy Clausen on this play.
Missed his last 4. Clausen steps into the end zone under pressure, got out of there. Still can't find anybody, and a run down at the 18-yard line. Great hustle by Kevin Akins, who may be the most athletic player they have on the field.
Great hustle by Akins and great discipline by the guys in coverage, because when Clausen was flushed out of the pocket, he was not looking to run. He was looking to throw, but none of his receivers uncovered because the Boston College secondary stayed disciplined and didn't give up on the pass routes.
Most to punt to Gunnell. High and very, very short. And most of this game being played in Notre Dame territory. 28-yard punt. Let's play Did You Know? Frank Leahy at Boston College in 1939 and 1940, won the 1940 national championship, and then went to Notre Dame, where he became a legend. And these teams are playing for the Frank Leahy Memorial Bowl. The break in his career there was when he went into the Navy during World War II. Because most people involved in sports, well, you can't see the bowl, can you?
It's in the box.
They're not playing for that box.
The bowl's in the box.
Crane incomplete. That was intended as the first quarter comes to an end. That was intended for MoMA. Coming up, even in a cosmopolitan city like Boston, Todd gets messy. Does he ever? With Taste of the Town. In 90 seconds, find out what's on the menu. Ready to start the second quarter. 3-0 BC. Now it's time for Todd's Taste of the Town, brought to you by Chase.
Here in Boston, I found a quaint family-owned Italian restaurant that looks and smells like you're walking into your grandmother's kitchen. It's called Camella's, and it was started in 1988 by Gene and Tom Camella. Now, Gene played football in BC in the late 60s, and he had 3 football-playing sons, and his 2 youngest, Matt and JP, now run the family business. The coolest thing on the menu to me is what's known as the messes. It was an idea Gene had as a way to limit wasted food. It starts with a secret family recipe base of various pastas, marinara sauce, and cheese, and then you decide what to add on top according to one of the 34 variations on the menu. This is the Mother K's. It adds sausage, veal, and meatball. Lord, bless this mess. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm not sure I'd be comfortable ordering Grandpa's mess. It's just me.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what's in it, I guess. You know, that one sounded pretty good to me.
That's why I'd be uncomfortable.
Sausage, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the portions just get bigger, don't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, they do.
It looked great, though.
It was very good. And a neat place, you know, a great connection here. The 3 Camella brothers, Greg played at Stanford and later in the NFL with the Giants, and JP, the youngest one, played here at Boston College. They were all fullbacks, and Matt played at Northeastern here in the Boston area as well. So really a neat family, a great place to eat.
Back in there is Hayden, and he keeps driving. Hayden down to about the 41. Be sure to check out all of this season's Taste of the Towns at ESPN.com. Just search Taste of the Town, and you know, we should start weighing these as well. You know, I mean, calorie count, let's not get carried away, but that looked like it was about 2.5 pounds of Italian food. And you didn't even mention the bread that was with it.
Yeah, well, I didn't eat much of the bread. The bread was just there for decoration. I just ate the, you know, every now and then I'll use some bread to just kind of sop the rest up.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
down the bottom, but
bread is a gravy boat for you. Pressure, Crane takes off. drilled.
It's okay. The thing that Chris Crane is doing, and the same thing he did last week in a losing effort to Clemson, is he's taking care of the football. We mentioned the interceptions, 12 on the year. 3 of them returned for touchdowns that really took his team out of a chance to win against Virginia Tech and North Carolina. Of course, they won Virginia Tech, but the North Carolina game really took him out of that football game. Last week, he did not throw an interception, no turnovers. He took care of the football, and he's making good decisions with the football tonight. He knows the defense is playing well. Don't put him in a bad spot.
Steve Logan says, well, you can't have it both ways. Billy Flutie is back to kick. It's one of those soccer style or rugby style kicks, and he puts it out of bounds inside the 20. You could see Flutie had the option of running, and we'll find out where the mark is. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, told you there would be more scoring down in Lubbock after Oklahoma State went up 7-0. Graham Harrell threw 1 touchdown pass to Edward Britton, a second one to the elf, Eric Morris, and the Red Raiders still in the first quarter on ABC. It's 14-7. Gators can clinch the SEC East and appear to be well on their way to doing so. USC still holding on to that field goal lead over Cal after 1.
Notre Dame going with 2 backs. They've been 1 back in the shotgun up until now, trying to get something going on offense.
James Aldridge on the toss. Somehow got past big Ron Bryce, and that's not easy. It takes up a lot of room.
Notre Dame, Charlie Weiss saying, you know what, we've got to get some momentum, so let's go 2 backs and let's put our big tailback in, James Aldridge. And Notre Dame has 3 backs, and they all see time. Armando Allen is the starter. He's more the shifty guy. Robert Hughes and James Aldridge are the bigger, more powerful backs, and Aldridge over the last couple weeks has really run the ball well.
He and Hughes split a lot of time last year as running backs. Knocked down by his own man as he was pressured right back in the middle of the line by Raji. BJ took Eric Olson, the right guard, and just threw him back in the ball carrier.
See, this guy is an NFL prospect. He just takes his man, uses that leverage, and just keeps driving. He doesn't care if he gets the tackle. In this case, he did. All he wants to do is blow the play up and let somebody else come and finish it up. That time, he blew it up and finished it up as well.
That was an awesome display of power. And a prospect indeed. Pressure coming on the blitz. Out to the 25. It's still going to be a couple of yards short of the first down. Asaph Schwab with his first reception of the season. They'll still have to punt it away, and here's Holly.
Well, guys, speaking of that big defensive tackle, B.J. Raji, he actually had to sit out last year because of a quick academic issue. He thought he needed 2 classes, and he really needed 3. But he said he made up the best of his time. He said, instead of sitting around pouting, I decided to be a contributing member of this team. He did it by playing on the defensive scout team. But, guys, he was so good, they kept telling him to quit playing. He was blowing up the offense. They had to take him off the scout team.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine he'd have been on the scout team at all. Gunnell up the middle. And again, into Notre Dame territory, Boston College has to take advantage of this field position. You can't do this the entire game and just come away with 1 field goal.
That's absolutely right, Mike. And Most has really hurt Notre Dame tonight with his kicking. The punts have been low. They've been short. And so, I mean, if you're going to kick them short, you better kick them high and let your coverage get down there. These kicks have been low and short. And you're right, Boston College with outstanding field position, but you can't just keep a 3-0 lead with this kind of edge in field position and hope to win a football game.
Yeah, there's only 2 things you want out of a punt, and he's not giving them either.
Yeah.
So they'll start this time from the 43-yard line. Harris is the running back. He'll get the carry, steps over 1 man, got the first down to the 32-yard line. Montel Harris out of Jacksonville, Florida, finally stopped by Bruton.
Well, Notre Dame came with some pressure from the outside, and it was an inside run. It looked like they might get to the backfield, but Harris does a nice job of staying inside. If he tried to bounce that out, he would have run right into the blitzing Sergio Brown. He stayed inside, found a little crease in there, and turned in a nice gain for a first down.
Harris again. Gets as much out of it as he could, only about 2 yards to the 30. One of the inside linebackers, Brian Smith, one of the top tacklers on this team, made the stop.
See, this is another play where Chris Crane has to put this in his memory bank, and he's got to watch this guy. As they run the zone here, he's got to see if this guy is cheating and just chasing the play. Eventually, the quarterback's got to keep the ball. See, nobody's paying attention to Chris Crane right now. Everybody's focusing on the back. He's just got to kind of file that away and realize at some point, I may need to pull that football out and keep it.
Harris again.
See, there are two guys, the defensive end and Harrison Smith, the outside linebacker, and both of them are just concentrating on the back, and now we've got a little extra pushing and shoving at the end of the play.
Matt Tennant for Boston College was involved in it, and there's Brian Smith, who was woofing early. He's involved in it.
After the play was over, personal foul. Number 65 offense. 15-yard penalty. The down count. 3rd down.
Well, Matt Tennant is the leader in this offensive line. Really a good center. A junior out of Cincinnati Moeller High School. And just at the end of the play, there's the push. He thought Sergio Brown was doing something a little extra at the end of the play. And we've seen 2 penalties against Boston College that were not very smart. I mean, just late pushes that you're always going to get a flag thrown on you. It's one thing to be tough and to be physical and to demonstrate that, but do it between the whistles, you know, do it in a legal play, because now you set your team back. You had great field position, and now you're 3rd and a mile, and you've taken yourself completely out of field goal range.
3rd and 22, a position you do not want to put your inexperienced quarterback in. Pressure coming. Crane throws underneath. They'll try to get what they can to Justin Jarvis. And let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, it is a steady, heavy rain out here on the field right now. The good news for Boston College, this is exactly the conditions they had to practice in Thursday preparing for this game. Notre Dame had sunny, nice weather all week, unseasonably warm in Indiana. So still remains to be seen who can be affected by this. But one good news, the turf is not slick. This absorbs water very well. The footing is still remaining very true out here.
All right, Holly, Billy Flutie is in again as the kicker. This time just a straight ahead punt.
See, this is how critical that penalty was on Boston College, because this was 4-down territory in Jeff Jagodzinski's mind. You know, you get what you can get on 3rd down, but when it's 3rd down and 20, it's not 4-down territory anymore. You've got a punt, and they've wasted another great field opportunity.
Games against Notre Dame. What 2 schools have the longest win streaks against the Fighting Irish all time? Just think of who they normally play. That's the hint.
Notre Dame, no offense so far tonight, but their field position has been atrocious. 20, 18, 14, 20, and their own 27. That's it.
1 first down. That was by penalty. There's an incomplete pass.
When you have a great defense, field position is huge. This is Matt Tennant coming off the field, and his position coach, Jack Bicknell Jr., really giving it to him because the situation was critical. They had a 3rd and 7 on the +29. Okay, so that's 4-down territory. And instead, with the penalty, now it was 3rd and 22, and it moved the ball all the way back to the 44. Really took away a great opportunity for Boston College.
Jimmy Clausen has hit only 1 of his last 6, make it 2 of his last 7, as Michael Floyd is the target, and they've got a first down there. Floyd, a talented young man out of St. Paul, Minnesota, the #1 freshman receiver of all time at Notre Dame already.
Well, there are some talented freshman receivers out there, and we've seen a couple of them. Julio Jones at Alabama, A.J. Green down at Georgia. This guy stacks right up with the best of them. I mean, he is physical, fast, and talented, and really can catch the football.
Guy on the other side, Golden Tate, didn't have bad either. They've got some terrific weapons on the outside. Great play by Donnie Fletcher. Got a fingertip on it at the last moment to knock it away.
Those are the 3 guys right there, a couple of notable freshmen. It's kind of a good year for wide receivers. These are the young guys that are making a name for themselves. Of course, you got a guy named Michael Crabtree out at Texas Tech right now that's lighting it up. Des Bryant at Oklahoma State in the Big 12, a couple of big-time receivers. So a lot of spread offenses, a lot of passing games. You need guys to catch it as well as throw it.
There are many more outstanding wide receivers than there are running backs this year. Speaking of running backs, Aldridge will get an opportunity, and we'll check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, checking on the games on the family of networks. Texas Tech is running like a machine against Oklahoma State. That's on ABC. It's 14-7. You see the Red Raiders are near midfield. Florida's going to clinch the SEC East by beating Vanderbilt. They're still in the first half, but they're up by 4 touchdowns, 28-0. It'll be Florida-Alabama in the title game as Texas Tech moves down to the Oklahoma State 40.
Thank you, Reese. Notre Dame with its best drive so far. They have moved it out to the 38-yard line. Clausen to throw again, the deep out to Floyd.
Well, you see the
strength. 47.
The strength of Clausen's arm. This ball is snapped on the left hash mark, and he throws an out route to the right sideline. I mean, it takes a heck of an arm to make this throw. Right on the hash, quick release, not very much air under the ball. It's on the outside of the receiver where it's supposed to be. And not every quarterback that you see playing college football can make that throw, but Jimmy Clausen can.
Still only 45 yards, another first down for the Irish. This time they'll give it to the fullback, Schwab. Picks up a couple. Let's check in with Holland.
Well, speaking of Jimmy Clausen's arm strength, we asked him this week what he thinks he's improved on this season. He said, it is my strength. He said, before last year, I had the elbow surgery. I had the bone spurs that had bothered me even back into high school. He said, I never had a chance to get in the weight room my freshman year. I was too skinny, so he's gained weight. He's gotten in the weight room, and he says, overall, that's my biggest improvement. I'm just bigger, faster, stronger.
And certainly has become the leader of this ball club. Charlie Weiss says everybody looks to Clausen. You can see why. Aldridge breaks an arm tackle, gets to midfield, and then is swarmed under.
Well, he almost had to get in the weight room as a matter of survival also.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because this team last year, we talked about the offensive improvement. One of the main areas, this team allowed an NCAA record 58 sacks a year ago. 58 quarterback sacks. Coming into tonight's game, after 8 ball games, only 12. So a dramatic improvement in their protection of the quarterback. Now, that's not all the line. Part of that is the quarterback knowing how to hold on to the ball, when to get rid of it, but 58 sacks is a lot of sacks.
This is the first time Notre Dame has been in Boston College territory. They made it by about a foot, and Clausen overthrows and is intercepted. Paul Anderson, 40, he could go. Needs one block, and he got it. Touchdown. Paul Anderson with his 4th interception of the season. Roderick Rollins gave him a great block on tackle Sam Young, and he went 70 yards for the score.
A big-time play for the Boston College defense. And when we show you the replays, the guy who's not going to get credit for it, but who made the play, was the linebacker Mark Herzlich, who got a great drop underneath the intended receiver, the tight end Rudolph, and forced the high throw.
Papanevis for the point after.
Who needs that field position?
That's exactly what I was thinking. They had squandered so many wonderful opportunities. Anderson says, the heck with this. We're the outstanding unit on this club. He takes it 70 yards, a pick 6, and it's 10-0 Boston College. Some of the images of tonight's game were in Chestnut Hill, Boston suburb. And Boston College has spent almost the entire night in Notre Dame territory. For the first time tonight, Notre Dame had crossed into BC territory, and then they give up an interception return for 76 yards. That makes it 10-0. The 10th pick Clausen has allowed this year, and the 15th interception by the Boston College defense, the second they've returned for a touchdown. Golden Tate pinned to the sideline. cut down at the 28.
We'll go back to the interception. I mentioned Herzlich. Herzlich actually is right there. McLaughlin is the other linebacker. Herzlich is going to get pressure on the quarterback, but McLaughlin is the guy who's going to drop underneath the tight end Rudolph and force the high throw. Watch both linebackers. Herzlich with the pressure. McLaughlin takes a perfect drop and forces Clausen to throw high over his head right into the arms of Paul Anderson. And then Anderson does the rest. But two linebackers really working the rush and the drop beautifully for the Eagles.
6:12 to go in the half. Notre Dame needs to get something started. They'll try it on the ground with Allen. And he only picks up a yard, maybe a yard and a half. If you're a quarterback and throw an interception, it's time to protect yourself.
Yeah, you better. You got to have your head on a swivel. You got to know that people are looking to take shots at you. And then you're better off just staying on the ground at this point, because as soon as you get up, you're going to get knocked down again.
Now, they have changed the rule in the NFL. If the quarterback is not trying to make a tackle, you've got to leave him alone. So quarterbacks don't try to make tackles anymore. Very smartly.
Yes.
Boston throws underneath. That'll be complete for about 7 yards to Kyle Rudolph, his very talented tight end out of Cincinnati. Only a freshman. Here's Holly.
After Jimmy Clausen of Notre Dame threw that interception, he came to the sideline. He didn't seek any treatment, even though he's got a big bloody elbow. You can see the blood through his shirt. But he did stand right in between Coach Charlie Weiss and quarterback coach Ron Paulus. This is kind of how they've handled him all season. He calls it good cop, bad cop. Charlie usually tells him like it is. Ron loves him up a little bit. But Ron was really in his face, really walking through that whole interception, guys. He stayed right there, listened to everything they had to say.
All right, Holly. Aldridge is in there on 3rd and short. He's the tailback. He follows ASAP, and he is thrilled.
Was that Raji again?
Yes, it was. Big number 90. And you could tell when he showed up because Aldridge went backwards.
A 235-pound tailback went backwards when Raji got there.
McLaughlin, it looked like, hit him first.
Yep.
Francois was in there, but then Raji blew it up.
Oh, man. Back-to-back possessions. Excellent plays by McLaughlin as well.
This defensive unit is fired up. And Notre Dame can't do anything on offense again. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Mike, more scoring again. Texas Tech. Watch this slant throw to Michael Crabtree. A little quick slant and then powering his way in. Graham Harrell, the touchdown pass. 21-7. Number 2 is rolling. Florida hammering Vanderbilt on ESPN2. Hey, this is the news flash. USC's given up actual points. 3-3 in its game against Cal on ABC. Some markets.
Hey, USC, if you're a fan of them, they've got to drive you out of your mind. They look like they could win the NFL one week, and then something happens. BC has had a great first half. So has Chris Crane, the fifth-year senior quarterback, getting a chance to play this year. And they would love to work on the clock right now. They'll deal with Montel Harris. Well, we asked you earlier who has the I'm going to read this again. What two schools had the longest wins? Thank you very much, against Notre Dame all time. And think about the schedule. They always play Michigan. They always play Michigan State. And those are the two teams that have the longest win streaks. Michigan has to go back to 1908 to come up with 6 in a row. Crane, hold on to the ball, hit from behind, and he protected it well enough.
Yeah, see, this is where he has to be really smart. His defense has played a stellar first half. The offense has controlled the ball. They've moved the ball, but they really only have 3 points to show. The touchdown came from the defense, but they've got the lead. They've got momentum. Don't do anything right here to let Notre Dame get back into the game right before halftime. And, you know, you think about that with a rookie quarterback or a freshman or a young quarterback. Again, he's a first-year starting quarterback, but he has played pretty poised here so far in the first half. He's got to play it all the way to the end of the clock.
Notre Dame comes with the blitz. BC has blocked so well. The pass incomplete, but they have kept their quarterback clean for the most part. Harrison Smith was coming. Montel Harris, 5'10", 192, stepped up and protected Chris Crane.
And Jags did a little dance on the sideline. He knew he had man-to-man coverage. His receiver was open. Gunnell ran a nice route to the corner, and Crane just couldn't get the throw down for him.
We talked about Charlie Weiss as the offensive coordinator in New England. Jagodzinski was the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. He had been the O coordinator here before he left for a very distinguished stint in the NFL. So both of these guys really know what they're doing. Quigley on to punt instead of Flutie. Golden Tate is deep, a really good kick. Tate will make the fair catch at the 28-yard line. 45-yard punt, 2:39 to go first half. BC by 10. To right the 49ers ship and do something else probably as he leads San Francisco against Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald, and the high-powered offense of the Arizona Cardinals. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. Be the first coach in NFL history to be wearing 2 belts. Notre Dame trying to do anything on offense. Clausen has to go underneath to Allen.
See, the good news if you're Notre Dame, even though it's been pathetic tonight, is it's only 10-0. I mean, it's not like the game last week where we were out at Oklahoma and was out of reach. I mean, but look at this. This is the we talked about the car
like
for
last year.
Yeah, we talked about the car for the Boston College offense. This is the Pinto that's up on blocks right now, and it's painted gold, metallic gold right now for Notre Dame.
Blitz coming. Clausen throws underneath. This is Floyd to the 45. This is the second deepest penetration for Notre Dame's offense in the entire half.
See Charlie kind of hobbling along. I mean, he's got the knee injury from the accident earlier in the season. He's actually wearing a brace tonight. He didn't wear a brace last week. And he's got a serious damage in his right knee as well as a cracked bone in his femur, at the tip of his femur, and
his knee's a mess.
It is a mess.
3-man rush. Clausen again throws underneath. That one was almost intercepted. If Hertzlick had not been intent on the coverage and looked for the ball, it hit him right in the chest.
Yeah, I think he was surprised by the ball because the ball did hit him right in the chest. BC rushing 3, dropping 8, and Jimmy Clausen threw right into that 8-man coverage, and Hertzlick had one delivered to him, and he couldn't hold on to it.
He's had 3 picks this year. He is a very good linebacker in pass coverage. 3-man rush again. Now 4th comes late. That's Akins putting pressure on Allen. Dragged down by Francois. They've reached the 48 for more on Charlie Weiss. Here's Holly.
Well, guys, listen to this injury to his knee. Of course, he took that hard hit on the sideline during a game. He has a torn ACL, a torn MCL, PCL, a ruptured capsule behind his kneecap, a dime-sized fracture in the femur. Guys, his team surgeons can't even operate on him because it's such catastrophic damage. He'll have to go to a trauma specialist who would specialize in someone who's been in a car accident and really shattered it.
Holly, Ruben Mendoza and Rick Perry are the 2 guys on either side of him. They are his bodyguards. So they throw underneath, completed the first down for 41. If he gets hit, they get fired. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, top 3 teams in the BCS, all with big-time struggles on their hands. One survived, one didn't, one still in doubt. We'll show you how Alabama suffered in overtime and came out on top. Penn State had its heart broken. We'll see where Texas Tech is coming up in a bit.
The Ides of March may have been the death of Julius Caesar. November has been the death of top-ranked college football teams for the last 2 years. Clausen throws high and wide to Michael Floyd. If it's November, keep your head on a swivel because somebody is coming to get you.
Especially if you're ranked high.
Last November, BCS number 1 went only 2 for 3. BCS number 2, 1 and 4. And it wasn't just upsets. They were stunning upsets. Clausen.
Nice job by Clausen.
Yes, it was.
You know, it's so important for a quarterback, a young quarterback, to learn how to just keep a play alive. Just buy a little extra time by moving in the pocket, but not losing your vision down the field. And that's exactly what Jimmy Clausen did there.
Notre Dame will use one of its 3 timeouts.
Watch Jimmy Clausen step up in the pocket to keep the play alive. Buy a little more time, but he never loses sight of his receivers down the field. Nice work in the pocket.
And that was Notre Dame's longest gain of the entire night, 16 yards. 2 races left, and he is point lead dwindling. Jimmy Johnson tries to hold off the hard-charging Carl Edwards as he strives for a 3rd straight Sprint Cup championship. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Phoenix tomorrow on ABC. Coverage starts with NASCAR Countdown at 3 o'clock Eastern, and Gearhead says Jimmy Johnson's got it.
Well, you know, the 3rd guy there has an outside chance, Greg Biffle, because if he can get to Homestead, that's where he's the best. And we'll see. Jimmy Johnson's in pretty good shape, though. .37 seconds to go in the half. Clausen steps up, flag down. This one's going to come back. Armando Allen gets a block inside the 10. Yeah, this one's coming back.
Yeah.
Again, you got those 2 big guys on the inside.
Number 51 offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Those are good defensive tackles.
They're excellent.
For Boston College.
I mean, B.J. Raji is an NFL guy. I mean, he's an early draft pick. Look at this guy. Again, he's low to the ground, 6'1", powerful, 325 pounds. And, you know, when he lowers and gets underneath you, there's just nothing you can do against him. But that's what has made this Boston College defense so good. They are so strong inside with Brace and Raji that they bounce everything outside, and they can pressure the quarterback. Raji leads the team with 4 sacks as a defensive tackle.
And tackles at any level of football are the hardest thing to find. And these guys are good ones. Intercepted at the 21-yard line, picked by Roderick Rollins. That's his 2nd of the year.
Now, this was not a smart throw by Jimmy Clausen because Rollins was a rolled-up corner, but there was nothing that threatened him in the flat, so he continued to drift underneath the receiver tape. Normally, if you see a rolled-up corner, there's a soft spot between the corner and the safety. But Rollins, there was nothing to threaten him, and so he was able to come underneath that and just drift back and make the pick. So you're thinking there's a hole right here between the corner and the safety. But watch what Rollins does, because nothing comes out to threaten him. He just keeps drifting, and all of a sudden he's right in the throwing lane.
So BC will be more than happy to go to the locker room leading 10-0. They dominated this first half against visiting Notre Dame. Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Coach, you'd finally found something getting going on offense there, but what's continuing to happen with those interceptions?
Well, I mean, on that one right there, he thought that he could get the ball. The guy was bailing on Golden right there, so he thought that he'd get the ball over the top. Obviously, was wrong on that one. And in the early one to Kyle, it was cover 2. He had, you had him open. He just overthrew him on the pass.
Thanks, Coach.
Our halftime score, Boston College 10, Notre Dame nothing. Let's go to Reese Davis and the Pontiac Performance halftime report.
All right, Mike, Boston College trying to make it 6 in a row against Notre Dame. Glad to have you with us. My Hall of Fame running mates here, as always, Lou Holtz and Mark May. In a day that has shaken up the BCS and threatened to totally turn it into upheaval, there's still one undefeated team left that has business to attend to down in Lubbock. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. Graham Harrell puts a snap on the ground, and the Pokes recover quickly. And Kendall Hunter, who's, hey, at some point, Oklahoma State wins this game, you got to start talking Heisman with this guy, Mark.
Absolutely. Coming into the game over 1,200 yards rushing to 11 rushing touchdowns. There's his 12.
So you think Texas Tech might have a little bit of a hangover after the Texas victory last week? Not so much. Harrell, Edward Britton, check out this throw and catch, Coach.
Well, this is...
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton Hotels. The first half stats, nothing to write home about except the 2 Notre Dame turnovers. Those are the keys to this ball game. That and the missed field goal for BC, that would have made it 13-0 instead of 10. But the interception return was a huge play in that half.
Those turnovers, clearly the difference in the first half between these two teams. Numbers everywhere else pretty similar.
Boston College will get the first shot on offense. Jeff Smith on the return. He's out to the 18-yard line. Well, we talked early about Boston College knowing their offense could only go as fast and as far as the quarterback could take them. How do we evaluate? What are our car choices in this first half?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give them a Honda Accord because I think Chris Crane has really played pretty well. I mean, I really think even though they've only generated 3 points, he has played solid. He's made good decisions of when to run, when to throw it away. He hasn't forced bad plays, and he's played to the strength of the team, which is their defense. Now, I think he'll have to do more in this half to secure a Boston College win.
And a Lamborghini.
Well, I don't know if it'll be a Lamborghini, just a souped-up Honda Accord.
Which is nice. Which is nice. Josh Hayden, with his first carry of the second half, picks up a couple.
I mean, you look at Chris Crane's numbers. They're not going to jump out at you. 6 for 14. He's under 50%. He's run the ball 3 times, but he hasn't thrown it to the white shirts. And he has allowed his defense to play and to make Notre Dame go the long field. They've played the field position battle. And really, the play calling has been really conservative as well. So they've protected Chris Crane, and Chris Crane has protected his defense.
Crane under pressure this time. Look out from behind. Down he goes. And there's a flag down as well. Ethan Johnson, the backup defensive end, got him from behind.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Hands to the face. Number 96.
Hand to the face.
15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's going to be on Pat Kuntz, and that's huge. Well, instead of a sack, you got an automatic first down.
Huge penalty. We've seen a couple that went against Boston College similar to this. There it is. Yep, caught him right across the face. I actually think he hit the center in the face, too. On his way to the quarterback, I think he hit Matt Tennant under the face mask. And then he hit the quarterback, Chris Crane. So a potential break for the Eagles.
Again, it isn't much as far as the strength of a blow, but that's the rule.
Yeah.
You hit a quarterback in the head, it's a penalty.
Now what do we got? We need an explanation because now they're saying it's 3rd and 12. They waved it off.
How can they wave it off? I mean, I understand you can wave off the penalty, but he hit him in the head. Unless they're saying he was across the line of scrimmage and therefore he's not protected anymore, but it didn't look like he was. That's the only way that I can think of that they would wave off that. Blitz coming.
What a throw.
Incomplete. Brandon Robinson couldn't hold it, and boy, are you right. Crane, what a beautiful throw.
3rd down and long. They expected man coverage. They got it. One-on-one with his primary receiver, working against Rayshon McNeil, and it's a perfect throw. Out over the shoulder.
Oh.
And Brandon Robinson just not able to stay with it. He's tried to plead that the ground caused the ball to come out. But that was a perfect throw by Chris Crane.
Quigley to punt.
Well, this could be the best field position to start with that Notre Dame has had in the entire football game.
Nice high floating punt. Loose ball, Boston College.
He took his eye off it, Mike. He didn't know whether to call a fair catch or whether to try to return it. And at the last minute, he tried to get a glance at who was coming down and lost his focus on the football.
Brad Newman will make the recovery. Golden Tate with a big mistake as a kick returner.
You see those eyes? The eyes did not look the ball all the way in. At the last minute, he tried to take a glance at who was coming, and the ball went right through his arms.
And instead of great field position for Notre Dame, Boston College is back in the same place it has been all year. And now Tate's going to hear about it on the sideline. The third Notre Dame turnover. The other two were Jimmy Clausen interceptions. Montel Harris starts this series as the running back. Crane throws. That ball was bobbled, and they're going to say it's caught at the 41 by Gunnell. Looked like he juggled it just as he got to the sideline. Hard to tell from that angle. You've got to get 1 foot down with possession, and he's got it. Good call. The line judge was right there on top of the play. Crane again. On the run, throws, incomplete. Well, the longer this game goes on, the more impressed I am with Chris Crane. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, checking in with BC coach Jeff Jagodzinski at the half, he told me that they have to make something happen right here. He said, we're going to get the ball here to start the second half. We have to make plays downfield. He said, I feel like we're able to rush the ball. We have to set that tone. They had 77 yards in the first half, so it's something they feel like they can hang their hat on. But more importantly, he said, we have to execute on third down. He said, we've been terrible. Good thing our defense has been keeping us in it.
Well, here they go right here. Third and very manageable right here for Chris Crane.
Crane throws underneath and has another completion to Ryan Purvis. And Purvis will have a first down, upended by Kyle McCarthy, but not before he had first down yardage.
Big target, 6'4", 260 pound, the senior. And Reinholds, Pennsylvania, does a nice job getting turned around, showing his numbers to the quarterback just past the first down marker, and a new set of downs for the Eagles.
Chris Crane had not played since his senior year in high school. Sat on a bench, watched Matt Ryan have a brilliant career here. This is his shot. Harris inside the 12.
Well, nice blocking on the left side. The center, Matt Tennant, with a big-time block. Watch the center, 65, get a block right here on the inside. Nice job. Well, they hit him. Jeff Jagodzinski said he thought they could rush the football. That was a big opening that time for Harris.
A touchdown here would make it a 3-score game. A field goal, it would still be 2.
Here's the
quarterback keeper. And Todd, you said earlier, they can't ignore him. And again, they gave him running room this time.
Well, you just have to do it. It's not a called keeper by the quarterback. That's the quarterback has to make that decision on his own if he sees that inside or the outside guy collapse and don't respect the quarterback. A great decision again by Chris Crane. Maurice Richardson was the defensive end. He was chasing the running back the whole way, and nobody accounted for the quarterback, and Chris Crane did the right thing.
First and goal, Eagles. Crane out of the shotgun. And they'll whistle this one dead.
Number 78 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Boy, those are killer penalties. You know, your offense has only scored 3 points. You've had good field position, and you haven't been able to get on the scoreboard or in the end zone. And now you're down in there inside the 10-yard line with a first down, and you get a false start. And now you back yourself up outside the 10. I mean, you don't want to help Notre Dame's defense out in this situation.
Harris just tripped up as he got inside the 10. Maurice Richardson, number 53, saved what looked like it could have been a big gainer. Just had him around the ankles.
I kind of like these two freshman backs. Montel Harris, we mentioned, went down to the end in recruiting. He was on his way to Duke, and at the last week of recruiting, Boston College offered him a scholarship. From Jacksonville, Florida, went to Trinity Christian High School down there, and again, Jagosinski told these two freshmen, you come here, you're going to start. And Josh Hayden and Montel Harris, two freshmen, the number 1 and 2 ball carriers.
Crane, touchdown. Brandon Robinson, who dropped a bomb on a stop fade, beat Terrell Lambert. What a throw, what a catch.
You practice this over and over. The way you rep it is you throw it to his back left shoulder, his back outside shoulder, and then the receiver stops and catches the football. Thrown in the right spot, run the correct way by the receiver. Nothing a defensive back can do in that situation.
If the corner does not get his head around, if he's not looking for the football, you're right. He's got no chance. The fumble on the return by Golden Tate, the third for the Irish, sets up a touchdown march, making it 17-0.
59.99.
Clear, ESPN HD, and Boston College working up a little bit of a lather here as they're leading 17-0 over the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. BC has won 5 in a row in this series.
Tell you what, they have come to play tonight, too, particularly on the defensive end, trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak. Lost their last 2, playing extremely well tonight.
Golden Tate, who would love to atone for that mistake on the punt return.
Boy, another penalty on a return.
Got it out to the 32.
During the return, look at block in the back. Number 25 return team.
That's 2 on him. That's 2 penalties on returns for Jonas Gray of Notre Dame. And the turnovers has been the story tonight for Notre Dame. Jimmy Clausen with a pair of interceptions, one of which was returned for a touchdown. Another one killed a potential scoring drive for the Irish. And then here in the third quarter, they tried to get the ball for their first possession, and it was fumbled by Tate, and it led to a Boston College touchdown. And a 17-0 Eagle lead at this point.
And psychologically, Notre Dame needs something in the worst way. Clausen comes out, completes it to Tate. He's up to the 30. And if you're honest in your evaluation about the Irish, they are so much better than they were a year ago, but this is still not a really good football team.
Well, and you've got to say this, too. I mean, they're 5-3 coming into the ball game tonight, but their wins have been against San Diego State, Michigan, who we know is a down football program, Purdue, Stanford, and Washington. I mean, they have not beaten anybody really of note this season. Their losses to Michigan State, North Carolina, and Pittsburgh last week in 4 overtime.
Clausen under pressure, throws to Allen, somehow stayed alive long enough to get the completion, but for no gain. Hertzlich again, very aggressive on defense.
Boston College's defense is impressing me. I watched about 3 games on tape, and I was impressed, but I really thought they would miss. You know, they've lost 2 key starters off of this defense this year to injuries. Brian Toll, their starting linebacker, broke a leg in the Virginia Tech game. Alex Albright, their best pass rusher a year ago from a defensive end position, had a neck injury in the 2nd game of the season. Well, they haven't missed a beat tonight. They look outstanding.
Come on a blitz. And Clausen can't get rid of it this time. Ramella from the right side gets his 2nd sack of the year.
But it's the push inside that starts it. Watch the push inside again by Raji. He just drives the center right back into the lap of the quarterback, and as Clausen tries to move out of there, he runs right into Ramella. these two tackles, and most particularly B.J. Raji, who could very well be a first or second round draft pick, they just clog everything up and they push everything back. They don't just take up space, they create havoc in the backfield.
They were trying to block Warnella with a tight end, and that didn't work. 3rd and 19 for Clausen. Pressure coming. Screen. Allen cuts it back. Good game, but not nearly enough to get them in first down territory. Akins makes another tackle. Notre Dame not good enough to make these kind of mistakes and beat a good ball club.
And I'll tell you what, I think Charlie Weiss has got to be really surprised, because talking to him before the game, he really felt like they were getting very close to being a very good offensive football team. I mean, he really had that feeling. Mike Haywood talking to him, they felt like they had a real good beat on this Boston College defense and their blitzes, and there's a block. Blocked!
Boston College will get the football as Moma, the backup wide receiver, came in and got it right off the foot of the kicker, Eric Moss.
Moma is 6'6". He's right here lined up. He's going to get right inside and use that big long body to get the block. Last week, Moss had his first block punt against Pittsburgh. This time, another block in the next game. Very crucial again, and Boston College set up again in great field position.
A straight line, the shortest distance between 2 points, and he came right up the gut. This could be the killer drive if Boston College could take advantage. Outstanding defensive play that time by Harrison Smith, who would not let Chris Crane get by after Crane kept the ball in the option.
Not only did he not let Crane get by, but he also beat the block of Rich Lapham, because they actually that time were blocking it for the quarterback to run, and Lapham was not able to get a block on Harrison Smith.
I can't remember a game when a team has started so many times in the opponent's territory.
It wears on you if you're a defense, too. It absolutely wears on you.
Crane, good protection again, throws underneath. And Robert Blanton showing closing speed on that play.
This was last week in the close loss to Clemson. They were down 17-7 early in the fourth quarter. Justin Jarvis, a wide receiver, got the block. Roderick Rollins was able to pick it up and return it 25 yards for a touchdown, and that really started Boston College's comeback in that football game. So back-to-back weeks, block punts by wide receivers, and in this case, set up again for another scoring opportunity.
Boy, they have blocked well for Crane all night. There was pressure there, and he goes down at the 15-yard line. There's also a penalty marker down. Maurice Richardson makes the stop.
Offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Holly Rowe, what do you have?
You guys, things are very quiet right now on the Notre Dame sideline. After that block punt, the punter just went down, stood by himself, a very lonesome figure there on the sideline. Nobody really talking to him. The offense is sitting here very low energy right now. Their coach, Rob Ianello, one of the assistants, kept getting in their face, kind of talking to him like, guys, we just got to keep working. Let's keep working. But the BC fans are really getting on Notre Dame right now. I heard him screaming, do you guys have any heart? The Notre Dame players keep looking back, and it's kind of getting in their heads right now.
Apanavicius will try the field goal. This will be from 32. He's 1 out of 2 tonight. They get 2 out of 3, and for this, or 1 out of 3 for the season. He is 8 out of 15. Ouch. Coming up, we'll remember another kick, the one that shocked college football 15 years ago.
Football Prime Time, brought to you by Saab. Introducing Saab Cross-Wheel Drive, all-wheel drive that leads the road. And Allstate, proud sponsor of college football and the 75th Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands?
If you joined us late, this has been a dominating performance by the Eagles of Boston College. They are really pleasing a sellout crowd of 44,500 here in Chestnut Hill.
Well, the problem for Notre Dame is they can't run the ball for an inch against this Boston College defense. They're totally one-dimensional right now.
Allen will try it.
I mean, that was their 13th carry, and before that, only 12 yards rushing. Most of your big plays in the passing game are going to come off of play action, but when you can't run at all, you can't set up play action. So they've been totally one-dimensional to this point.
Well, they're 91st in the country coming in and rushing. Their strength has been Clausen throwing the ball, but you can't be totally one-dimensional and hope to succeed.
Well, and again, against a good defense where you get chances to get big chunks of yardage in your passing game, typically are off of play action, not drop back or not shotgun throws down the field.
BC's defense has been even better than advertised. This one is underneath the Floyd incomplete. Let's check in with Reese.
Mike, here's what's going on in the family of networks. You just see the catch in the middle of the field. I believe that was Edward Britton who made the grab. No, Detron Lewis, pardon me, for Texas Tech, giving the Red Raiders first and goal after an Oklahoma State turnovers. 28-14 there. Texas Tech trying to go up by 3 touchdowns. Florida blowing out Vanderbilt. Gators, once this is officially over, will be the SEC East champions. Game on ESPN2. It's 42-0.
Thanks, Reese. Congratulations to Florida.
Well, that should be some SEC championship battle between Florida and Alabama.
Woo. Clausen under pressure, had to throw it high because he had linemen right in his face. Akins was coming on the corner blitz and made Clausen throw it away.
Well, Frank Spaziani has known when to call the pressure tonight. This is an unblocked guy. It's a zone pressure, so it's not man-to-man coverage. It's still zone coverage on the outside, but an unblocked guy forces the poor throw by Clausen.
Most will punt again. Remember, the last one was blocked. Gunnell is the deep man. Returnable kick. Gunnell will signal for a fair catch. Let's take a look back at 1993.
Championship perhaps hanging in the balance. McDougal. Touchdown, Dawson! 41-yard attempt to win the game and end the Irish National Championship hopes.
41-39 the final, a 41-yard last-second field goal. Notre Dame's got a lot of work to do tonight before they have a chance to pull off that kind of dramatic comeback. And let's check in with Holly with a special guest.
Well, David Gordon is the kicker who made that very famous kick back in '93. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. You're facing the #1 team in the country. What was going through your mind at that point?
I was just basically focused on making the kick, and hopefully I was going to get a good snap and hold, and that was the case, and I knew I could make the kick.
You did make it. How did that kick change the course of your life from that point on?
I've had so many people come up to me and just thank me for making that kick, all positive. There are a few Notre Dame fans that we know that don't like it too much, but overall, the BC fans are very happy with it. So.
I know kickers get a lot of grief, but what is it like in that moment when, you know, everybody talks about how uneven kickers can be, but to come through in a moment like that, how does that stand up for the kickers everywhere else?
Well, in my case, it was just great preparation that Coach Coughlin, we practiced it all the time, every Thursday, and I was very prepared, and mentally I knew I could do it because I didn't practice, and I knew I could do it. So.
And he did, and it changed the course of history.
All right, thanks, Holly. It is a lonely life of a kicker, particularly when things are not going well, like they're not for Apanavicius. Ian Williams with a good block of the quarterback, Chris Crane, that time.
Yeah, I still kind of like my bullpen idea.
Fan you are.
Yeah. Well, they're important, but I just like to keep them sequestered. Call them when you need them.
Golden Tate is deep, just inside the Irish 20. Clock running, 4:08 to go, third quarter. Notre Dame's really going to have to step on the gas here. Tate to the outside, the kicker to beat. Golden Tate to the 41-yard line, a 43-yard return after a punt of 46. That's exactly what they needed.
Well, Golden Tate is a special athlete. I mean, this guy was a running back in high school, a 10-8 100-meter guy in high school. They made him a wide receiver last year, and Charlie Weiss said, you know, he didn't know how to play last year. All he could do was run fast. Well, he's become a wide receiver this year and trying to make up for the fumbled punt a couple possessions ago. Gets a nice return for the Notre Dame offense. And this Notre Dame offense absolutely has to do something here. You know, coming into the game tonight, they had only had 13 3-and-outs on offense the whole year. That averaged out to be 1.6 per game. Already tonight, 5 3-and-outs by their offense against this Boston College defense.
Four-man rush, they apply pressure. Allen, early in the ball game, they were blitzing. Now they've decided they really don't need to do it most of the time. And Golden Tate, the sophomore wide receiver, Hendersonville, Tennessee. And Golden, a family name, both his father and granddad. His father played wide receiver for the Colts, and he was selected by the Diamondbacks in the Major League Baseball draft. So he is a multi-sport star. Converted running back with speed, a lot of it. Clausen, who is probably playing his poorest game statistically all year, has this one batted down. And again, Boston College getting guys in his face. Hertzlick comes off the corner that time. Another blitz by a linebacker or corner, and timed his jump perfectly.
When Boston College does blitz, for the most part, it's what's known as a zone blitz or a fire blitz. I mean, they don't play man-to-man coverage or not have safeties back when they blitz. They just bring an extra rusher from some other place, but it's usually only a 4-man rush, occasionally a 5-man rush. That time, Hertzlick got his hand on the football.
Right now, Frank Spaziani's kids throwing a shutout. This time, the pass is incomplete, intended for Kamara. Roderick Rollins on the coverage.
I think Notre Dame has to go for it here. I don't think they can afford to punt the football. They've got guys open because the corners for Boston College, I mean, they kind of bail out of there. You can get an out route in against these guys, but you got to protect your quarterback first.
4th and 6.
Boston College wanted to call a timeout here. Didn't like the way they were set up.
When you're down 17-0, you have to start taking chances, even with 3:01 to go in the third. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Notre Dame going for it on 4th down from the BC 41 with 3:01 to go, third quarter. They are down by 3 scores. Clausen to Allen in the flat. Can't get it. Well, you wonder about that call.
Well, you're thinking that Armando Allen, who is excellent in space, can make one guy miss. Unfortunately for Charlie Weiss, that one guy was Roderick Rollins, and Roderick Rollins made an outstanding tackle in space. And Allen is very difficult to defend out in grass, but that was an excellent tackle by Rollins.
But you mentioned the fact that the corners play off. They cannot match the speed of Notre Dame's wide receivers.
That time they came up and they showed a cover 2 like they were rolled up to take outs away, and he went to the underneath throw to try to get the first.
So BC buoyed by the ability to stop Notre Dame again. They have alternated tailbacks tonight between Hayden and Harris. This is Harris. Took him the last week of recruiting. It looked like he was going to go to Duke. And then when the coaching staff there was fired, he changed his mind, got an offer from Boston College, decided to come to Chestnut Hill.
Well, we mentioned for Boston College, I mean, this is not a conference game. There's a lot to be played for them in the next 3 weeks after this, but a good building block, trying to end a 2-game losing streak first and foremost.
And as a quarterback, you've got to like the discipline that Crane has shown tonight.
He's been in charge. He's been in control from the first quarter. He's not looked like he's been flustered. He's not looked like it's been chaos for him. He's managed the game, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. Make some plays, but most importantly, manage the game and take care of the football, and he's done that.
And Notre Dame has never put him in a position where he had to really gamble.
And I think Boston College's ability to run the ball with a lot more success than Notre Dame helps to take the pressure off the quarterback. Everything is on Jimmy Clausen because they can't run at all.
First down BC, and Harris will pick up about 5. And let's go back to the used car lot and see what's up.
Well, I'm still staying right here. I mean, it's a Honda Accord, maybe a newer model. Again, I mean, they got in the end zone. Yeah, maybe leather seats, maybe even a sunroof. You know, that's pretty nice to have. CD player, but they're efficient right now, and they're getting the job done, and he's getting the job done. And Steve Logan, I think, is doing a nice job of managing his quarterback and calling plays that give him a chance to be successful.
Harris again. Maybe a yard this time. With just 2 races left, the point lead is dwindling. Jimmy Johnson will try to hold off the hard-charging Carl Edwards as he strives for a 3rd straight Sprint Cup championship. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Phoenix tomorrow on ABC. Our coverage begins with NASCAR Countdown at 3 o'clock. Eastern time is getting short. The clock is BC's friend right now. Crane under pressure. Blitz in his face. That would be the easiest pick they'd ever get. And this may be...
Well, there's a late flag as well.
Brian Smith was charging on a blitz and drilled Crane. Rashawn McNeil had the ball right in his tummy and couldn't hold it.
Crane just trying to unload that before the sack by Smith and threw it behind his receiver and almost picked off by McNeil, as you mentioned.
Could have been a pick 6, and that would have been a huge play.
An ineligible receive downfield, number 87. The penalties decline. 4th down.
It's Lars Anderson, a backup tight end. He must have been covered up. And they'll have to punt it away. And Flutie is in to kick. A lot of teams have gone to this rugby-style kick, and Flutie a good enough punter to do the regular style as well if need be. And you got to pay attention to him when he's in there because he's always a threat to run. It's a great roll on this one. Inside the 10, here's Reese.
All right, Mike, time for the Dr. Pepper conference update. The conference is the Big 12. Graham Harrell, Michael Crabtree, those two hook up for the 2nd time tonight. It's now 35-20. Red Raiders on top of Oklahoma State on ABC.
All right, thanks, Reese. Harrell's got to be right at the top of your list.
Man, he is. I mean, he is right up there. He continues to play well, and that combination of Harrell to Crabtree is about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
They are really good and on the same page.
Whoever wins that conference is something. This year, there is so much talent. Clausen complete on the out. It's now 18 out of 32, but it's under 150 yards for Jimmy Clausen. That is going to be the last play of the 3rd quarter. We'll talk more quarterbacking with Todd, particularly about his Heisman choices right now, when we come back for the start of the 4th quarter. Not easy being green.
Having to spend your whole life the color of the leaves.
Yeah, we're getting a little punchy. No, I didn't. No, I was very impressed. 17-0 as we start the fourth quarter. Clausen trying to make something happen. Floyd flag down.
I think that was a catch.
I think it was, too.
I think it was interference on Boston College and a catch.
Number 9 defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You know, they've got to get.
It wasn't, but I thought it was.
Yeah, well, they've got to get this guy involved. He's been too integral part of their success this year offensively. Michael Floyd, the true freshman out of St. Paul, Minnesota, 6'3", 215 pounds.
Was not a catch.
Yeah. But they got to keep throwing it at him.
Yes, they do.
You know, I mean, they've thrown it to Tate tonight. They haven't given Michael Floyd as many opportunities to do something with the ball. Only 4 catches. I think they got to keep trying to feed him the football.
He came in with 7 touchdowns. That's number 1 on the club. Blitz coming. Clausen runs away from trouble. Picks up as much as he can and goes out of bounds. It's the mistakes that have killed Notre Dame tonight, Todd.
Yeah, 3 turnovers. One of those interceptions returned for a touchdown, a blocked punt, a couple costly penalties, and really this is not a miscue, but just a no running game, virtually no running game. Boston College has done 2 things really well on defense tonight. They've stuffed the run, and they've not given up the big play. Clausen has thrown 32 passes, only 2 completions for over 10 yards in the ballgame.
Throws this one through the hands of Michael Floyd. That would have been a pick 6. DeLeon Gauze concentrating on the receiver.
A little bit high, but a very catchable pass for Michael Floyd. Looked like he was looking upfield a little bit, seeing where he was going to run after the catch.
You're right. It's a catch he's got to make.
Yep.
3rd and 6. Underneath to Tate, and Tate right at the sticks. McLaughlin, the middle linebacker, stopped him, and if the yellow line is accurate, and it normally is, well, they spotted it 3 different places now. The referee picked it up, spotted it beyond the line, put it back even with the line, then put it back ahead of the line. And it will be a first down. As spotting is an art, not a science, huh? Clausen rifles this one, caught by Floyd. Floyd looking for a block. Big play inside the 30. Got him on a crossing route, and Floyd did the rest for 31.
Well, that's the biggest play they've had tonight. 31 yards. Coming into the game tonight, they'd had 17 plays, pass plays of over 30 yards. We just mentioned only 2 completions for over 10 yards before this one. 31 yards, and again, you see the skills and the talent after the catch of Michael Floyd. Big, strong, and fast. And a big play for the Irish.
It's a good combination.
Yes.
Clausen for the end zone. Too high, picked again.
Every time Clausen has tried to throw against cover 2, he is overthrown because of the underneath coverage on his intended receiver. Once again, he's trying to hit his tight end, Kyle Rudolph, and there's underneath coverage that forces the high throw. This time it was Francois, number 35, with the underneath coverage, forcing the high throw, and the 2nd interception of the ball game for Paul Anderson.
Boy, if they ever need a wide receiver in a pinch, go to Anderson. That was a great catch. His 5th of the season, the 2nd of the game. And that's just got to knock the life out of Notre Dame.
Well, I am so impressed with the discipline of the drops of the Boston College linebackers. I mean, we have seen it all night. McLaughlin has done it. Herzlich has done it. Francois has done it. They get under those routes, and there's no place for the quarterback to throw the football except over the head of the receiver, and that ends up bad for the Irish.
Well, when you have that, don't you have to go somewhere else?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you can't get locked in there thinking just because this is what the coverage says, you've got to see that underneath coverage as well. Sometimes a quarterback with a great arm has too much confidence that he can stick the ball in anywhere. And
Notre Dame is challenging this call, and I don't know how much they believe that it was not an interception and it's just reached the point of desperation. But that is a brilliant catch. By rule, if the ball hits the ground, it is not an interception. The official had the same angle we did and couldn't tell. Look how Anderson turns.
That was his elbow
body.
that hit, not the football. That was his elbow that hit the ground.
He had to be a receiver in a previous life because
after review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The receiver had his arms underneath the ball and securely had the ball. It is an interception, a touchback. Notre Dame will be charged with their first time out of the half.
Receivers will start to roll to protect that ball, and that's exactly what he did.
Coming into the night, he was tied for the team lead with 3 interceptions. 2 more tonight puts him square in front with 5. And again, for Chris Crane, it's be smart with the football. Turnovers have destroyed Notre Dame tonight, and your ability to protect the football has been a big key to your success.
There's not going to be anything real fancy coming from BC's offense right now. Harris gets a couple on the ground. Here's Holland.
Well, guys, when we spoke with Notre Dame quarterback Jimmy Clausen this week, he said his biggest concern playing against BC was how confusing they are in the back end of their defense. He said they show a real vanilla look, and then they roll. They change a lot of different things. He said, you know, I have concerns with that because what they show you pre-snap isn't what you always get. Now, he told us the safeties will always tell you where the ball is going to go, but guys, it seems like he's really had some trouble deciphering what this BC defense does. They're pretty tricky back there.
Well, you know, it's crazy, Holly, because I don't know that he's having trouble reading the coverage, but he's just making bad decisions of where to throw the football because the safeties are telling him what the coverage is, but he is not appreciating or he's underestimating the underneath coverage that the linebackers are providing for Boston College.
Well, there's that old line you hear from quarterbacks and coaches, safeties don't lie.
Yeah.
They have to play certain ways in certain defenses, and they're always going to tell you if you're smart enough to figure it out. But the bottom line is, BC's defense has been terrific.
They absolutely have.
Raining harder now, which is not going to help Notre Dame's cause. And the clock just continues to tick away. They'll whistle this play dead.
Right now with Chris Crane.
Number 18, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
One of the things that Chris Crane has to do now, and this is kind of tricky because, again, he's a first-year starting quarterback, but right now with a 17-point lead, you want to start to milk the clock and use as much of the clock as you can, but you don't want to do it in such a way that you take all the aggressiveness away from your offense. So you want to still try to stay within the rhythm of your offense, but you really want to use as much clock as you can. So spend a little extra time in the huddle maybe and not at the line of scrimmage.
Notre Dame was late getting a defender on the field. Montel Harris with a nice run. Here's Reese Davis.
Mike, with 1:20 left, Cincinnati was up on West Virginia. 20-7 had the ball. They took the safety. West Virginia scored a touchdown, got an onside kick with 18 seconds, completed a long pass, and then set up Pat McAfee from 52 yards out to try to put it into overtime. And he did. See all those empty seats? All the people in Morgantown came running back in to watch overtime. It's where we are now.
Tell you what, that kid is a terrific kicker. He's got quite a future on Sundays. And Boston College is just starting to do everything perfectly. Golden Tate knocked down in his tracks. Sam Bradford, Colt McCoy, Graham Harrell, Tim Tebow. Who do you like for the Heisman? We'll talk about it when we come back. Let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings Review. Trouble at the top for Joe Pa and my partner. Pretty tough day to go through when your heart gets involved, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But Iowa deserved to win. There's no question. They outplayed Penn State today.
So Penn State is going to drop out of the national championship picture. Allen on the draw. There is a flag down on the play. And Allen out to about the 38-yard line will check the penalty.
Offsides, line up in the neutral zone. Number 47 defense. The penalties decline. Result of the play is first down.
They'll decline that penalty and take the gain. And, of course, Alabama struggled. Texas Tech looks like they'll solidify their hold on number 2. And probably the teams just below Penn State will move up a notch. Yeah. Nobody seemed to do anything out of the ordinary.
Well, I think Penn State, they may even drop below a couple of those other one-loss teams. I could see them dropping below Florida, USC, Oklahoma.
Now the Big Ten becomes very interesting because you've got Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan State all right there together. But it certainly ends the dream of Joe Paterno of having a national championship opportunity. It's going to be very difficult, but remember, November isn't over yet. Last year we thought we knew what was going to happen, but we obviously didn't. And it's no easy road for Texas Tech to finish this season either. Alabama, of course, will play Mississippi State and Auburn, and then they're going to have to play presumably Florida in the SEC
I think that's already set. Yeah, I think Florida's already locked up the SEC East. And
talk about a showdown.
Yeah, that will be, because Florida playing extremely well right now, much better than earlier in the year.
Reese Davis, what's happening with Texas Tech?
It's the Michael Crabtree Show making a statement again. Graham Harrell put it up there for 05. He'll pull it down for you. Red Raiders 42-20 on ABC, making an emphatic statement for their place atop the Big 12.
42-20. Unbelievable. Talent galore in that conference. Allen underneath. And Boston College is going to give them just about all of those that they want. There's a flag down back near Clawson.
Yeah, I got another roughing the passer.
Number 52 in the defense. Contact to the helmet. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's Austin Giles, whose brother Zach was a center for 4 years at Notre Dame.
And look at Frank Spaziani out there to meet him. I mean, he doesn't want any of his guys doing anything at this point to take away from what his team is doing. The end of the throw. Austin Giles, it's just the hand up there above the head. I mean, the tackle wasn't so much as it was the, now it just.
Boy, that's a tough call.
Yeah. And some frustration on the part of Jimmy Clausen as well.
Clausen trying to scramble, look out from behind. Down he goes to the 28-yard line. Good closing speed by Ramella. The defensive end got Clausen.
In this Boston College defense, last year they finished number 2 nationally in rush defense, and coming into the game tonight, the second best defense in just about every category in the ACC behind Florida State. The only team playing better defense in the league than Boston College.
They only had 228 yards in total offense so far tonight against that BC defense. Rudolph, the tight end, makes the catch. Guys like Herzlich have really played well. Their linebackers are very active. They had those 2 tremendous tackles to keep the pressure off of the linebackers, and Herzlich one away from double digits.
I thought it was a funny story, too, when we were visiting with him yesterday. After we got done visiting with him, very pleasant young man, he left the room, and and came back in a little bit later. He said, you know, I want to tell you this other story. I got a call from my grandfather. I'll tell you after this play the rest of that story.
Boston for the end zone overthrown.
Anyway, he said his grandfather called and said, hey, tomorrow in the game, you may want to take it easy on the fullback for Notre Dame, Asaph Swoop, because he's dating your cousin. So, well, we'll just have to see about that. Mark Herzlich, an outstanding football player for these Eagles.
We get a lot of smart kids at both of these schools. They're always near the top of the graduation rates for football players. Notre Dame was #1. Boston College last year was #1 for schools in the top 25. 4th and 1, Notre Dame obviously will have to go for it. Allen, the tailback.
My goodness. If they got it by an inch.
What defense?
And this B.J. Raji is everything he was advertised to be. I mean, I knew coming in that Frank Spaziani said he's the real deal, and you watch him on tape. He's powerful, he's quick. He is a dominant defensive interior lineman. And
that looks about 2 feet short.
Gosh.
Yeah, he is. He is quite a player. And when you have those 2 tackles that can stonewall the middle, there's a lot of things you can do.
Yep.
And Boston College will take over on downs. What a defensive show by these guys tonight.
Well, Jeff Jagodzinski said when he got the job last year, the best thing that happened was he was able to convince Frank Spaziani, the coordinator, and Bill McGovern, the linebacker coach, to stay on the staff and keep that defensive continuity. They've done that.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your
Hotels at Hampton. We love having you here. And in part by the phenomenal 4 from Mitsubishi. 4 cars, 4 cylinders, 0 compromises.
Boston College really pumped up about what they have done to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish tonight. 8:08 to go in the ball game. BC takes over on downs, up 17-0, and they'll be working on the clock. Lose a couple on the run with Josh Hayden. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, want to show you how West Virginia and Cincinnati finished up. West Virginia kicked a field goal in overtime. Tony Pike, Kazim Ali, and the Bearcats, who seemingly had blown it, pulled it out of the fire 26-23. It might be Cincinnati and Pitt, the West Virginia's still in it for the Big East. Florida's cruising on ESPN2. USC and Cal in a struggle, 10-3 in the 4th quarter. And by the way, Texas Tech has scored again. It's 49-20.
They are good.
Yep. I'll tell you what, though, that Brian Kelly at Cincinnati, his name is going to start resurfacing again. A couple big jobs going to be available this year. Already available.
Yes, they are. Quarterback keeper for Crane. I think the biggest job opening right now is at Clemson. I think that program really, I mean, obviously Tennessee is huge, but Clemson, if you're there and you're successful and you know what you're doing, you've got a chance to dominate a league.
Well, the thing about Clemson to me is that Clemson has an SEC mentality, and I think an SEC stadium, resources, approach to the game of football, but they play in a league that doesn't compete quite as hard week to week as I shouldn't say doesn't compete as hard, but just isn't as challenging week to week as the SEC. I mean, Tennessee's got great resources and great facilities, and you know, I mean, as good as it gets in college football. But boy, you've got you know, the SEC has changed a lot since the early days for Philip Fulmer when he was winning SEC championships, and he won the national championship in 1988. It was Florida and Tennessee, and that was pretty much it on that side of the ledger.
And how about the guys in the rumor mill who have already said no to the possibility even of going back to Tennessee? I mean, David Cutcliffe at Duke said, I'm at Duke. I'm not going anywhere.
Butch Davis, and I don't blame Butch Davis either. I think I watched his team on tape against both Notre Dame and Boston College, And North Carolina is a team that is very close to being good. I
mean, some very good talent.
Yes, they do.
Number 19, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And that's the same.
Spurrier said the same thing, that he wasn't going to go back.
Yeah, and that's the same argument for Butch Davis. I mean, you play in a league in the ACC, if you can recruit the kind of talent he's accustomed to having, he can make some real noise in that conference and get to BCS bowl games.
Notre Dame, you really need a big play out of anybody. Can special teams make one? Quigley's job is just to get it out of there. Here they come, and Quigley did his job. And better than that, hit a boomer. Fair catch made back at the 26-yard line. Here's tonight's Good Hand Flashback presented by Allstate. November 7th, 1998, right here in Chestnut Hill. Notre Dame up by 5 with under 6 minutes to go. BC put themselves into a position for a startling upset, but on 4 tries on the goal line. Mike McLeod couldn't punch it in. Deke Cooper's stop on 4th and goal would spark Notre Dame's celebration. The 13th-ranked Irish escaped with the victory, 31-26. If they escape with a victory tonight, it's going to be Houdini-like, because we're already down to 5:30 and they haven't scored in this game at all. Tate driven out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Clausen has had a very pedestrian night, as has the rest. Notre Dame offense. Clausen in trouble. Flag goes down. That's a sack for B.J. Raji. And a penalty marker as well.
Holding. Number 78 offense. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
Trevor Robinson, only the 5th true freshman ever to start on Notre Dame's offensive line. This was a team that gave up 58 sacks a year ago. That's almost an unimaginable number, especially if you're a quarterback. You just can't imagine being hit that many times.
Well, the thing you got to remember, though, is that with sacks, it's not always just the offensive line. Now, I say that because my dad was an offensive line coach for about 30 years, so I have to say.
And a good one.
And a good one. But a lot of that is the quarterback not holding the ball too long, but whatever the cause, 58's a lot. And it was an NCAA record, and they're much better this year. But in the case of this game right now, trailing 17-0 with no running game at all, it's very difficult to pass protect.
And those were just sacks. That doesn't count the number of times that Jimmy Clausen just got blasted after he got rid of the ball. He was beaten up so badly they had to bench him the last 2 games of the season, just basically to save him.
Yeah.
When you can't walk to class on Monday, it's time to sit down. Clausen will take off across midfield down to the 48. Well, you are the Heisman expert, sir. You have a vote. How does Harrell look on your list?
Well, I think he's at the top of the list right now, because what he's doing and what Texas Tech is doing, he's playing at an extremely high level. I mean, all these guys are. I mean, Sam Bradford is playing as well as anybody from the quarterback position, but Graham Harrell and Texas Tech, I mean, what they're doing right now is really, really impressive. And I've got Michael Crabtree on there because he's spectacular. I don't think that he's going to win the Heisman, but he is a spectacular player. And of course, Tim Tebow, he doesn't have near the numbers that he had a year ago.
No.
But I think maybe he may be a better all-around quarterback. And their football team right now is better than they were a year ago on the offensive side.
Robert Hughes got that last carry, which you saw Doug Flutie's jersey. He won the Heisman.
1984.
And they put up his statue yesterday outside one of the entrance gates here, immortalized in bronze.
And knowing Doug, because one of the things that made Doug the spectacular player that he was such a fierce competitor, which I think he is still to this day.
Yeah.
If he plays pickup basketball or whatever. But he only got to play against Notre Dame one time in his career, and he lost that game 19-18 in the 1983 Liberty Bowl. And I'm sure that probably sticks in his craw to this day. You know, he threw for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns, but his team lost by 1 point.
Well, he spent all those years in the Canadian League and played so well. He was the MVP up there, I believe, 3 or 4 times. Clausen going deep for the end zone and incomplete. And guess who? Paul Anderson almost got his 3rd pick. More on the statue, Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I kind of took an unofficial survey of some of the fans here tonight, what they thought about the statue, and kind of the common theme was it was a lot bigger than they expected. Now, Doug was a little bit of a diminutive quarterback. You know, he played bigger than life, so that was kind of the consensus here in the stadium. But Doug was really funny yesterday at the ceremony. He said, this is kind of weird. I come around BC all the time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come around here because it's going to be kind of weird walking by myself.
Well, when he finally got back to the NFL in the late stages of his career and still succeeded, I think that was probably the hallmark of his career in the pros. Because everybody said, well, there's no way at that size that you can play quarterback in the NFL. Those days have passed.
Yep.
.243 and counting. Clausen again looks for the end zone, throws underneath. Is it intercepted? It is. Donnie Fletcher, that talented freshman. And boy, that secondary, what a bunch of ball hawks they've been tonight.
Well, that's how many interceptions now is that? 4th interception. Coming into the game, they had 14. Donnie Fletcher from Cleveland Glenville High School. Bet you don't know their nickname.
No.
The Tar Blooders.
Whoa.
The producers of The Phenomenal Four comes with...
Coming up next on ESPN at Sports Center, some of the stories they'll be covering. A wild win for Alabama as #1 survives, whose title hopes were crushed. We know at least one, and it's an NFL Week 10 preview. Giants and the Eagles ought to be an interesting game. Well, Boston College, you're always looking for a statement win, and certainly this was it. And look at the effort there as they just keep pounding it out against Notre Dame.
Well, this is a solid football team. I mean, defensively, we knew coming in that was the backbone of their team. They were even better than advertised tonight. And everything is in front of them. I mean, Jeff Jagodzinski told us, I mean, that, you know, we have 3 ACC games left after this. And teams that are ahead of us or right even with us, we're right in the thick of things. It's not an easy road, but at least it is out there for them.
Yeah.
And they still have a lot to play for, and that's all you can hope for. At this point in the season in November, to still have something to play for, a shot to get to the ACC championship game is a great thing.
Montel Harris, a few more. And the ACC is such a jumble. It'll clear up in the next couple of weeks, of course. But Florida State came through with a win today, 4-2. Wake at 4-2. You see Boston College just behind that first wave. They could finish at 5-3, and 5-3 might be good enough to get them in the championship game. And the other division, same thing. 5-3 might be good enough to get you in the championship game. Yeah, nobody is dominant.
Right. I mean, you can argue, well, that's parity, or you can say it's mediocrity. I mean, whatever you want to say, but the bottom line is it's competitive. And, you know, to still have a shot at this point is all you ask for. But if you get to a BCS bowl game, you know, the alumni and, you know, the people that cash the check here at Boston College University aren't going to care how you got there.
James McCluskey is the player that's down. Speaking of the alumni, this is the kind of game that's very important from that standpoint. I mean, when you have a game of this magnitude playing against Notre Dame, the 2 major Catholic schools that play big-time football, this is huge for them. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, And I think, quite honestly, that for the Boston College fans, there's probably a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, a little bit of a feeling like we're the little brother.
Yeah.
And, you know, Notre Dame has probably got the more the reputation and the bigger following. But, you know, for Boston College, is you see the trophy that they're playing for, the Frank Leahy Bowl. You know, this makes 6 in a row.
Yeah, little brother is beating up on the big kid.
And it evens up the series at 9 apiece. So, I mean, it's been a competitive series. Unfortunately, I think it's going away. They've got 2 more years to play.
They will talk about renewing.
Yeah.
I think they have one. The paperwork hasn't been signed in like 2018, 2019. Tentatively talking about that. Then with the extra game that they have added, so there's a 12-game regular season, there is a chance. Notre Dame is trying to play 3 Big East schools a year. Boston College certainly would have been in that mix had they not gone to the ACC.
Right. No, I think it's a pretty cool matchup.
I do too.
What's interesting about Boston College too, that one of those did you know? I didn't know this until I read it this week. And it looks like they're going to extend this streak, but they have the longest current active win streak against non-conference opponents of anybody in the country. It will go to 21 with this win tonight. The last non-conference game that they lost here was in 2004. They lost to Wake Forest 17-14. At that time, BC was a Big East team, and they lost to the ACC Wake Forest team. But this would be 21 non-conference wins in a row, the best in the nation.
And a big win tonight for Jeff Jagodzinski. About as much fun to be around as you can find in college football.
Yeah.
He's just a super guy. And he'll be celebrating tonight as his Eagles will have pitched a shutout over visiting Notre Dame. This week on Monday Night Football, new head coach Mike Singletary trying to help San Francisco turn it around. They have to face Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald, and the high-powered offense now possessed by the Arizona Cardinals. It's Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30. Our coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. They come to their feet at Alumni Stadium, and Charlie Weiss has to make a long and painful walk to the middle of the field to shake hands with Jeff Jagodzinski. Boston College will go to 6-3. Notre Dame will fall to 5-4. They are still not bowl eligible this year after a 3-9 disaster in 2007. BC earned it tonight, Todd.
Absolutely. They were clearly the best team on the field tonight.
Our final score, Boston College 17, Notre Dame nothing. Coming up next on ESPN, stay tuned.